Good afternoon.
Hello.
So please introduce yourself.
My name is Eliseev Zakhar Eliseev, born in the city of Ussuriysk on November 14, 1998.
98th year. How old are you?
24.
You voluntarily consent to the recording and publication of this conversation.
Yes. 5th Army, 127th Division, 394th Motorized Rifle Regiment. Typhoon Squad, known as the Assault Squad. Tell us about your family. Brothers, wife. I am not married. I have no brothers or sisters, except cousins.
Father, mother?
Divorced.
Who did you live with?
With mother.
What is her job?
She is a faculty member in the Department of General Legal Studies.
Also jurisprudence.
Ministry of Internal Affairs. She works as a teacher in the educational unit.
This is interesting. Great, this might be interesting. Do you know the laws?
Not much really.
Do you know your constitution?
Not by heart.
It is not necessary.
Well, unfortunately, I wasn't interested.
Were you captured on the battlefield?
Yes. When performing a combat mission, namely, I went to a position with food and water.
Yes.
I brought all this to the position and should have already returned.
Yes.
The drone spotted me in an open field. And I tried to run away from him.
Yes.
And while I was running away from him, I lost all my bearings. I got lost.
Yes.
Having gotten lost, I went in a direction completely unknown to myself.
You had combat equipment, a machine gun.
Yes, but I had to leave it.
Did you throw everything away?
Yes, because I almost didn't have the strength to run.
You took off your combat kit and magazines to make it easier. How long did you wander?
About 2.5 hours.
That's not a lot.
I had to zigzag.
Why?
I guess I was going in circles. Because when they showed me the place where I was captured, it turned out that I was then walking in a different direction. Not to my positions, but it turned out that I ran in the other direction.
Towards ours.
Yes, that's right.
Don't say exactly true. Fine. So, how were you captured? You wandered.
I wandered, hid in some building, in some barn or private house. It was destroyed. And I heard the speech.
That is.
After half an hour, the sounds were far away. I didn't understand what it was.
Yes.
And I decided to just move on. Subsequently, as a result of my walking, I didn't know where to go then. I heard the phrase, "Stop! Who's coming?" in Ukrainian.
Did you no longer have a weapon?
Then I no longer had a weapon.
And from what I understand, the drone was flying around looking for you all the time.
I can't say for sure, but I had to run away from her for at least an hour. But in the end I reached the position of the Ukrainian Armed Forces soldiers. I heard this phrase. I thought about turning around and running away, but I realized that nowhere to run. As a result, several shots were fired. Shots rang out somewhere very close and I fell. They asked me who I was, if I had a weapon, and so on. That's how I was captured.
What date was it?
It was the 21st of March.
21st of March. That is 3 weeks ago. What direction is this?
It was in the direction of Ugledar.
Ugledar. The month of September. How did you receive the summons?
When I woke up, I opened the door. I didn't even think that anyone could come to me at all.
Yes.
I didn't think about it. Are you Zakhar Eliseev? Yes. Here's your summons.
Who?
A man from the military recruitment office, and he had a precinct officer with him.
Yes. What did your mother tell you?
Mom wasn't at home then. She was at work. But in the evening she said, "What to do, we need to get ready."
Reach an agreement?
We made this decision.
That is.
That I will go there.
What did you know about the events in Ukraine by that time?
I heard that in the Donetsk and Lugansk directions, at least according to the news, it was said that everything had been more or less settled, but the troops were still advancing, and so on. I was, roughly speaking, in an information vacuum.
They constantly shout, "Victory."
Yeah, and the news sources are saying, everything's according to plan. That's it, that's all we know, unfortunately.
According to plan?
As they claimed.
It's clear.
According to sources, everything is going according to plan. The de facto offensive is certainly underway, but I would not say that it is as successful as it is being presented.
Who started the war and why is it needed? You, as an educated person. Either way, you know there's always someone who started it.
I suppose that they were looking for a reason for military action. Namely, well, at least as it was said in the media, the rupture of the Minsk agreements. Well, and many, many other reasons. Well, in general, it seems to me that the war, or a special military operation, whatever you want to call it, began because Russia did not want to see Ukraine in the role of his further rival in the NATO bloc and within the European Union. In essence, this is a political war, not an economic one. I don't see any special prerequisites, except, perhaps, for the decommissioning of old equipment and shells that are inconvenient to store.
When did this war start?
The special operation began in 2022, and the fighting in Ukraine. The fighting began, if I'm not mistaken, in 2014.
Right.
After the annexation of Crimea to Russia, as well as after the emergence of separatist sentiments in the Donetsk and Lugansk republics.
I wouldn't say that. Yes, in principle, that's how it is, to my surprise. I'm really surprised. You, in fact, said everything correctly, but in addition to separatist sentiments, I would add after the entry of the regular Russian army into the Donbass before the separatist sentiments. The same columns entered Donbass in 2014. There were career military men like Strelkov Gherkin, and various other representatives of Russia in the Donbass, who started the so-called Russian Spring. In addition to the DNR and LNR, they wanted to create similar organizations in the entire southeast of Ukraine, from Kharkiv Oblast to Odessa Oblast.
Yes.
In 2014, occupying Russian troops entered the independent state of Ukraine. Is this an independent state?
Hard to say. Unfortunately, I have no experience in politics.
I'm about to snap. What the hell kind of politics do you have to be experienced or inexperienced in? Is Belarus an independent country?
Yes, Belarus is an independent country.
Poland?
Also.
Ukraine?
Maybe yes. I can't tell you for sure.
What is the ambiguity? It will be very interesting. Why are Belarus and Poland independent? Is Germany an independent country?
I think no. Not completely. Formally yes. Actually, probably not.
On whom does Germany depend?
Germany and many other countries, in my opinion, make political decisions looking, firstly, at other countries of the Union, and secondly, at the United States of America.
Maybe I'll tell you a military secret, but
it's just that, at least according to rumors, the event called Maidan was sponsored. Well, if not sponsored, then at least. Yes. In general, the money that was sent to organize the Maidan was allegedly paid from the budget of the United States of America.
Please tell me how much money needs to be sent to the Maidan for it to take place, given the fact that I was at the Maidan and no one gave me money? How do you imagine that? 100,000 people gathered there. Was someone standing at the entrance handing out dollars?
No, of course, I meant organizational issues.
What organizational issues?
Maidan is, after all, not one day.
And what?
And people need water, food, a roof over their heads.
The shops are all open. There were quite wealthy people on the Maidan, and there was a layer of the population that parasitized on this and ate for free. And Maidan, well, I had many friends on Maidan whose cars cost $100,000. And they didn't need anything, the cafes were open. And all the rest. What you're saying. This is not entirely clear. Moreover, the lion's share, well, half of the Maidanovites were residents of the city of Kyiv, where the Maidan took place. As a matter of fact, people could go home and return. This is how it happened. Okay, let's put the question differently. How much did America spend on Maidan? $1 million. So that they can buy sausages and water for those people who, well, we're talking about something. This is some kind of nonsense.
At least according to the media.
It's complicated.
But, in addition, at some point I saw a video, presumably from blogger Dmitry Puchkov, popularly known as Goblin.
Yes.
He made a video about Maidan. If I'm not mistaken, about 40 minutes, maybe more.
Can I ask you a question? Dmitry Puchkov, aka the Goblin Fool, who is one of the top 10 propagandists, was he in Ukraine at that moment?
I think no.
Of course he wasn't here. Accordingly, what kind of film could he make without being here? Like this. It's one thing when Vova and I go to some rallies and film with our phones. This was before the war. Our YouTube channel started before the war. How can you, while in Moscow, make a film about what is happening in Kyiv? I can explain it.
I think the film was propaganda.
Well, of course, he took the necessary subjects where. I didn't watch this video. I haven't watched this video, but I know Puchkov's rhetoric. I can say that he took the necessary excerpts from the video in which the police, or rather the militia, and you can see how people throw something at the riot police. In Berkut, loud screams can be heard. Yanukovych, go away or something like that, and that's the whole point of the film.
Roughly speaking. I don't remember specific video frames, just inserts, pictures.
I mean, the movie.
Roughly speaking, he was talking about something throughout the movie, showing different pictures.
It's not even a movie.
He showed people on the Maidan. In my opinion, there were, if I'm not mistaken, footage of Berkut fighters, right?
Well, yes.
It seems that's it. And so on.
An hour-long propaganda that people on the Maidan are overthrowing the government.
Yes.
Bingo, what more do you need? But you can't look for the real picture on the internet, because there is Puchkov, who has a confident voice, and he tells how the overthrow of power is happening there. Everything has been proven. Right?
Yes.
Zombies? That's what I call them. Let's get back to the question that interests me, because when I asked you whether Ukraine is an independent country or not, you answered, I don't know. Explain to me what I don't know means.
According to media reports.
Which ones?
Russian media.
Do they have a name?
Lately I was only interested in the news in the Telegram, so I tried not to watch TV.
Okay, on Telegram.
The channel is called Tu Chudesak, that is, roughly speaking, a news channel.
This channel is a pro-Russian swamp. I subscribe to it too. And sometimes I look through it. In order to know how information is presented on the other side. I have several similar channels. What next?
Well, in general.
700,000 subscribers.
Yes, only there was a news channel. Another picture. Yes, here it is, the second one. Actually, in this Telegram channel, they talked about Zelensky there. Allegedly he is a drug addict. I will not say so. I don't know this and I won't say whether it's true or not. Well, other information. It states that all decisions to conduct a special military operation are made in the United States of America, and not in Ukraine, not by the Ukrainian authorities.
Can I ask you?
Yes.
What difference does it make to you which government makes our laws? Or it's simpler, what's going on here? Why do you care what happens here?
I'm not interested. I will say this. I mobilized, or rather, I was mobilized. I didn't want to go to Ukraine.
What did you do to avoid getting here?
Unfortunately, nothing. I didn't have such opportunities.
Have you been told what will happen if you don't go to the military registration and enlistment office?
8 years of strict regime.
You know this is a lie. So far no one has been sent to prison.
No.
Why didn't you find 10 minutes of time to look for this information in Google or Yandex? Why didn't you call some lawyer and get advice, given that your mother worked in the Ministry of Internal Affairs? You worked in the Ministry of Internal Affairs. You there? You know the laws and the Constitution better than other citizens because you worked as a police officer and received training.
There was simply no time to even take any action. The summons to the military registration and enlistment office arrived late in the evening.
You said they gave you a summons this morning. You opened the door.
I woke up. I was sleeping then.
In the evening?
Yes.
And come in the morning.
Yes.
Didn't you have half an hour of time to Google on your phone or at least call someone for advice?
I admit, I was simply shocked.
Shock.
I didn't think I'd end up here.
Please answer the question, why is your country concerned and interested in what is happening here? Even if it doesn't interest you.
I don't have an answer to this question.
No problems in Ussuriysk? There are no homeless people, people of low social status. As you said?
People of moral and social low status.
Yes. Everything is fine. Everyone is wearing bows, everyone is full and happy?
I wouldn't say that.
Everywhere order, pipes, roads, everything is perfect?
In this matter everything is more or less.
No.
As for the rest, I don't know much.
You were a policeman who saw the city and its horrors every day, I'm sure of it.
Not every day, mostly everything was calm.
So I'm talking about this, why your Russian news channels show Ukraine, Ukraine and Ukraine again, and don't show that everything is bad with you. I can take out a laptop and open Google Maps of Ussuriysk. I think there will be a lot of streets that need repairs.
Yes, there are such places.
Why do you care about what is happening here in Kyiv? Why are you being brainwashed into thinking that everything is bad with the Ukrainians and that they are controlled by the Americans? So what?
I have no answer.
There is no answer to the question. Is there anything interesting to add or tell? Why don't you want to talk to your mother?
I don't want to talk to my mom because, first of all, like I said, I might cry myself. And I know myself. Because my mother is the most important person to me. In my life, from beginning to end. In addition, the mother has a heart condition. Her heart might not be able to handle it.
Diseased heart. He recorded a voice message. She hasn't looked at it yet. The message was delivered but not viewed.
If.
When she reads and responds, I'll tell you.
Yes, I also wanted to say that if the message is on WhatsApp, she may not view it. Can I use Telegram next time?
Yes, try it.
Thank you.
According to our tradition, prisoners of war turn to their fellow countrymen and friends. They talk about whether they should come here or not. You can refuse.
I'll say something.
Look here.
I'll say this. It's not worth coming here. It's not worth it, no way. I saw what happened to people after being hit by shells, after bullet wounds and so on. This. An extremely unsightly sight. This can happen to absolutely every person who is currently here in Ukraine, by the Russian armed forces. Therefore, if I were the people who want to come here as volunteers, I would, at a minimum, say that it is not worth doing this. Sincerely, it is not worth it.
Yes, thank you.